Welcome to SATV News. This is Noor Alamin with the headlines. July Uprising Protection and Liability Ordinance gets Advisor Council's approval, confirms Dr. Asif Nazrul. BNP being harmed by controversy over postal ballots, said Salahuddin Ahmed, seeks explanation from EC. Draft Energy Master Plan risks locking Bangladesh into costly fossil fuel infrastructure, said CPD. Now in details. Law, Justice and Parliamentary Affairs Advisor Dr. Asif Nazrul today said the Advisory Council has approved the July Uprising Protection and Liability Ordinance aimed at providing legal protection and addressing liabilities arising from the July Uprising. This approval came during a meeting of an Advisory Council held at the Chief Advisor's office in the capital's Tesgaon area. The Chief Advisor to the interim government, Professor Muhammad Yunus, in the chair. Briefing reporter after meeting, Asif Nazrul said the ordinance would be published in the official gazette within the next 5 to 7 days following completion of the necessary legal and administrative procedure. He also noted that the ordinance was formulated in the view of the prevailing legal and constitutional considerations related to the July events and is intended to ensure clarity, protection and accountability under the law. Further details in the ordinance, including the scope and specific provisions, will be made public once the gazette notification is issued, added the advisor. BNP chairperson Tariq Rahman is going to sit in a meeting with Chief Advisor Professor Dr. Muhammad Yunus. The meeting is scheduled to be held this evening at the Chief Advisor's official residence at Jamuna. This will be the first time meeting between Dr. Yunus and Tariq Rahman since the BNP leader returned home last month. BNP Secretary General Mr. Fakhrul Islam Alamgir and several members of party's standing committee are expected to be present during the meeting. The discussion will focus on the upcoming national elections and current law and order situation across the country. Meanwhile, BNP Standing Committee member Salahuddin Ahmed has alleged that his party is being adversely affected by ongoing controversy surrounding postal ballot. He also made the remark today while speaking to reporter after meeting with his Election Commission Secretary at the Election Bhavan in Agargaon, Dhaka. Salahuddin Ahmed also said the meeting focused on several legal issues related to the election process as well as the election code of conduct. He also pointed to video and photograph circulating on social media that has allegedly shown 200 to 300 ballots being found in individual household. He also claimed that certain cases ballots sent in one person's name view reviewed by someone else. He also said the Election Commission and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs must provide clear explanation on how ballots were sent to expatriate voter and how they are separated and supposed to cast their vote, where ballots are to be scanned, and who will be held responsible if a large number of ballots are found in a single location. Referring to the election code of conduct, Mr. Salahuddin said that increased voter participation voter slip should include the voter's number as well as candidate name and electoral symbol as well. The Center for Policy Dialogue today, CPT, called on interim government immediately suspend the formulation of energy and power sector master plan, warning that draft present a backward shift in policy and is driven more and more to bureaucratic dominance and vested interest than by Bangladesh long-term economic and energy needs. During a media briefing in the capital, CPT Research Director Khandekar Ghulam Muzammin said the proposed master plan is fundamentally flawed and non-participatory and risks locating country also costly and carbon-intensive infrastructure for decades. Questioning the mission and vision for the draft, Muazzam said renewable energy has not been the position as a core priority, while domestic coal is being promoted under the banner for research optimism. He also questioned the rationale behind planning for nearly 600 megawatt for the electricity capacity, asking who would ultimately consume such a volume of power. According to CPT analysts, around half of proposed capacity would be sufficient to meet demand by 2040, particularly as Bangladesh's future industrial growth is expected to remain service-oriented, labor-intensive, relatively low in energy intensity. The EC today concluded the sixth day of hearing on appeals related for candidacy for the 13th Jatiyo Sangsad election. The hearings against the decision for returning officer over acceptance and rejection for nomination paper stated at 10 a.m. this morning at the auditorium of election building at the city's Agargaon area today. According to the EC announced schedule, appeals bearing serial number 381 to 480 are being heard today. The full commission, chaired by Chief Election Commissioner A.M.M. Nasiruddin, will conduct the hearings until 5 p.m. today with a 1-hour recess in this afternoon. One of the fifth day of hearings yesterday, a total number of 100 appeals were taken up, of which 73 were allowed, 17 were rejected, and 10 were kept pending. EC Secretariat Senior Secretary Akhtar Ahmed said that hearings on the total number of 380 appeals have been completed over the past 5 days from Saturday to Wednesday. The Appellate Division of the Supreme Court today ruled that there is no legal obstacle to holding election in the Pabna 1 and Pabna 2 constituencies on February 12. The polls in the two constituencies held be according to the boundaries set out in the Gazette issued by the Election Commission on September 4 last year. Following the delineation, the Apex Court said the Sathia Upazila will fall under the Pabna 1 constituency, while the Shujanagar and Beza Upazila together will form the Pabna 2 constituency. Court sources said a 4-member of bench of Appellate Division headed by Chief Justice Zubair Rahman Chaudhary passed the order after hearing to lift to appeal petition against High Court verdict that has declared illegal to the EC Gazette notification for September 4 on last year, which had attached 4 unions and Bera municipality of Pabna 1 and Pabna 2. Viewers, we are taking a short break. Stay with us.
সারা দেশে লাখো মানুষের কঠোর কর্মতৎপরতা ও নিষ্ঠায় এসএ পরিবহন পার্সেল অ্যান্ড কুরিয়ার সার্ভিস এখন 16 কোটি মানুষের হাতের নাগালে। দীর্ঘ 30 বছর ধরে বিশ্বস্ততা ও দ্রুততার সাথে সেবা দেওয়ায় গ্রাহক সেবায় এখন শীর্ষে। বাংলাদেশে গ্রাহক সেবার সাফল্যের পর এসএ পরিবহন পার্সেল অ্যান্ড কুরিয়ার সার্ভিস এখন বিশ্ব বাণিজ্য কেন্দ্র সিঙ্গাপুরে। আপনার যে কোনো পণ্য সিঙ্গাপুর থেকে বাংলাদেশে বুকিং এর জন্য যোগাযোগ করুন। এসএ পরিবহন প্রাইভেট লিমিটেড, লজিস্টিক্স পার্সেল অ্যান্ড কুরিয়ার সার্ভিস, 22 রবার্টস লেন, সিঙ্গাপুর 218302। ফোন 0065 629 24900।
Welcome back, and you are watching SATV News. Now news from abroad. Irfan Soltani, a 26-year-old Iranian man arrested on January 10 during protest, has not been sentenced to death, the country's judiciary was quoted as saying on Thursday by state media. The judiciary said Soltani, currently held in the penitential Kanazin, being charged with colluding against the country's national security and propaganda activities against the regime, but that death penalty don't apply to such charges if they are confirmed by a court. Earlier this week, right organization Hinong reported Soltani arrested in connection with protest in the city of Karaz was due to executed on Wednesday. Earlier, the Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Archi said in an interview that Iran has no plan to carry out hanging. There is no plan for hanging, the Akarchi told Fox News in the special report with Bread Barrier program. Hanging is out for the question, he also said. Meanwhile, U.S. President Donald Trump on Wednesday said he has been told to killings in Iranian crackdown for the nationwide. The protest was sublinks and that the believes there is no currently plan for a large-scale execution, even as tensions between Tehran and Washington as well remain in high situation. Asked who told him that the killings stopped, Trump described them as very important sources on the other side. The president didn't rule out the potential U.S. military action, saying, "We are going to watch what the process is before nothing." The U.S. administration received a very good statement from Iran. In a televised interview on Monday, Trump had warned that United States would take very strong action if Iran's authority went ahead with executing protesters they had detained during widespread unrest,
which a lot of people were talking about for the last couple of days.
Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey criticized the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement Agency after a Venezuelan national watch ship during a federal immigration raid on Wednesday evening, according to authorities. Speaking during a news conference following the incident, Frey called ICE's conduct disgusting and intolerable. City Police Chief Brian O'Hara said the man was wounded after a struggle with federal agent and later hospitalized, while two others was arrested following an ambush on the officer. The crowd is engaging in unlawful acts. Fireworks have been thrown to police, O'Hara noted, as protests erupted near the scene. Frey called for calm and asked the protesters to stop taking the bait. They cannot counter Donald Trump's chaos with the brand chaos, said to Frey. The shooting comes a week after the ICE agent fatally shot a 37-year-old woman, raining code, fueling tension over Trump's deportation sweeps. The United States said on Wednesday it is launching the second phase for its plan to end the Gaza war, even as the key element of the first-time phase, including a complete ceasefire between Israel and Hamas, remain unfulfilled. According to second phase in the social media post, Donald Trump Special Envoy Steve Witkoff said on establishment a transitional technocrat, the Palestinian administration in Gaza, and would begin the process the disarmament and disarmament and reconstruction as well. The Palestinian body will have 15 members and will be led by Ali Saab, a former deputy minister in the Western Bank Palestinian Authority who had been in charge of developing industrial zone, according to joint statement by mediator Egypt, Qatar and Turkey as well. Denmark will increase its military footprint in Greenland, said the Danish defense minister Troels Lund Poulsen on Wednesday at Copenhagen. Denmark and Greenland said they had begun to increase their military presence in and around the Greenland in close cooperation with ally as part of the promise to beef an Arctic defense. This announcement came before Denmark and Greenland foreign minister meet with U.S. the Vice President J.D. Vance. However, following the meeting, Denmark foreign minister said there had been a frank but the constructive conversation with the Trump administration about the fate of Greenland. But the two sides had come to no agreement about President Donald Trump's demands to own its Arctic territory.
Jeg synes, det der det et stærkt hypotetisk.
Venezuelan acting President Delcy Rodriguez said on Wednesday that 406 imprisoned people are being released, though it was unclear what the time period was referring to, whether those included planned releases as well. Rodriguez made this announcement at the media conference from the Miraflores Palace in Caracas. Earlier the day, Venezuelan politician and journalist Ronald Carino was freed during the ongoing prisoner release. The release announced last week were moving slowly According to advocacy group and families human rights organization, esteemed some 800 political prisoners in the country, but just dozens have been freed. They said so far 72 political prisoners have been released. Russia said on Thursday that a British diplomat was being expelled after being identified as a British spy by the Federal Security Service as well. The FSB named the British diplomat and said he was working undercover for Britain's spy service. The diplomat had been given 2 weeks to leave Russia. In addition, Russia's foreign ministry summoned the Britain charged in affairs in Russia to protest about the situation. It was again stressed for the Moscow would not tolerate and activities of unclear the British intelligence officer in Russia, the foreign ministry said. A Russian drone nearly hit a Ukrainian nationalist monument in the western city of Lviv, but near Mayor Andriy SATV on Thursday. The SATV said on various social media the drone fell on the playground next to statue of Ukrainian nationalist Stefan Bandera that has weakened. The explosion hit a communal walker clearing snow. Lviv regional governor said in a telegram statement January 15 that was an attack near the Stefan Bandera movement in Lviv. Singapore Prime Minister Lawrence Wong stripped the Pritam Singh for his post as leader for the opposition on Thursday, saying his position had to become untenable after his conviction for lying to Parliament. The move, the first of its kind in Singapore, comes after Parliament decided in a vote that signed for the opposition Worker Party that was unsuitable continue to post given his dishonorable and unbecoming conduct after lying conviction. Wong in his statement said the decision was nearly to uphold the rule of law as well as the dignity and integrity for the Parliament. A SpaceX capsule carrying a 4-member crew home from orbit in emergency returned to Earth, the necessitated by the undisclosed serious medical condition afflicting one of the astronauts splashed down safety early on Thursday in the Pacific Ocean of California. The Crew Dragon capsule, the parachuted into calm seas of the San Diego at about 12:45 a.m. local time, capping a 10-hour sprint descent from the International Space Station and free re-entry through Earth's atmosphere carried live by the joint NASA SpaceX website. The astronaut was being stepped down crew cabin, seated side by side and wearing their helmet while the black spacesuit as the re-entry proceeded. The plan to bring all 4 members of Crew 11 home, few homes ahead of schedule, was announced January 8. A NASA Administrator John Isakam saying one of astronauts faded serious medical condition that required immediate medical attention on the ground. British Home Secretary Shabana Mahmood told to Parliament on Wednesday that she was lost his confidence in a chief constable to the West Midland Police and will push for a new law that will give his power to fire him after it was revealed that intelligence used by the police force justified in a ban against fans of Israeli soccer team Maccabi Tel Aviv was exaggerated on the simply tenure. Mahmoud's comment came on Sunday that her office announced new plan to give the Home Secretary power to fire falling Chief Constable. Speaking to UK Lawmark, Mahmoud said the WMP Chief Constable Craig Gunfold no longer has my confidence and he would have ensured more professional and true work was done by police before the ban was implemented last year. She claimed it over the 20 years since the Home Secretary has made such comment about the Chief Constable. West Midland Police had failure in the leadership. Before ending, we go through the SATV News headlines again. July Uprising Protection and Liability Ordinance gets Advisory Council's approval, confirmed Dr. Asif Nazrul. BNP being harmed by controversy over postal ballot, said Salahuddin Ahmed, seeks explanation from EC. Draft Energy Master Plan risks locking Bangladesh into costly fossil fuel infrastructure, said CPD. You are up to date with the top stories so far here on SATV. And to know the latest news, visit www.satv.tv. Stay with SATV.